Not a call to order. Thank you, sir. Thanks. So look, I'll continue where we left off on this commencement date in the second clause of the Summary Offences Possession of Handheld Lasers Amendment Bill, soon to be amended as an Act to the Possession of Handheld High-Powered Laser Pointers Act, as it will be when it passes. Sir, in terms of the commencement date, there's a couple of key points that I just want to speak to. One of them, and one of the fundamental things I think, was around the education period and the time that was needed, particularly for the enforcement agencies. It is a narrow piece of law, and it is a narrow field, I guess, sir, in terms of the likelihood of offending, but when it does occur, it is very, very serious. And sir, so what would happen, well, what the police submitted and what the police need an opportunity to, and why the commencement date was set at a month, and actually that's quite limiting for the police, is actually to provide an opportunity for the police to carry out training. Now, typically what they will do for that, and let's bear in mind they have to do that within 28 days, is they will call a number of training days where particularly the sectional police officers, the front line, if you like, Mr Chair, of the police force, those that are out there in the I-cars, they will go through a training day process where they will actually learn what this legislation is about and what the expectation is in terms of how it will be enforced, because it's not a punitive bill, but as it won't be a punitive piece of legislation. The Summary Offences Act in itself is not something that wields a significant amount of weight. But the point is, sir, is that the implications of someone using one of these high-powered laser pointers maliciously is significant, and that won't be lost on the police. So in that first 28 days, the police will actually have to carry out some training days across, what amounts to probably several thousand police officers, the frontline police officers in each police station across the country. What they will want to understand really is not just about the law and what the expectations are, what the ingredients of the offence will constitute, but in which manner the police intend to actually police that. And I would suggest that they'll take very much a proactive, informative position on it, because the next point that I want to make in terms of that commencement date and time allowing for the education process is the education process that must occur for the general public. So in those first 28 days from royal assent, what the public have to get their heads around is what a high-powered laser pointer is, as distinct from a laser pointer that may be used... Sorry, Mr Robertson? Exactly, as distinct from a low-powered one. Well, this in the university world, of course, this will be a big deal. And it will be a big deal because there are a number of people that use these things in the educational setting. And, of course, there are many who use them at conferences and seminars and what have you. And I would hazard a guess, sir, that inside the equipment box of a number of seminar presenters is laser pointers. And, indeed, at the venues and conference venues and so forth, sir, there are many people who use these things as toys. And many stores who sell them as toys.
Do they?
Yes, absolutely. And obviously they're going to need to determine as retailers of these products where they land. Now, it's not to say that they can't sell them, but obviously if it falls into the hands of someone who uses for a malicious purpose, then that will obviously be of concern to retailers. So that 28 days from commencement date provides that opportunity for the general public, for those who are commonly using these devices, to get their heads around what the expectation is and what this legislation is actually about, which is not about punishing law-abiding citizens who are going about their lives using a laser pointer for legitimate purposes. It's for those who would use them for malicious purposes. So then we have the impact in terms of the workplace, because in many workplaces, laser pointers will be used, and in fact, in many workplaces, lasers are used. Yeah. And so there'll be some question, Sue, that they will have to resolve within that first month as to, is the lasers that we're using in our workplace, would they constitute a high-powered laser if they were actually held and used by hand? Because there are, in fact, sir, men in engineering, even on building sites, they use lasers. I've used one myself, not well, sir. I have to say that if I laid down a snooker ball on the living room floor. It would roll to one corner, disappointingly so, but I did use a laser, obviously got that wrong.
David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I'd just like to congratulate Dr Cam Corder for his great work on this bill as well, and just when I found